I got a DM from a girl on TikTok and she messaged saying that she launched her fashion brand and that absolutely nobody had bought anything from her collection. She was distressed. She wanted to get some help. And so she asked us to look at her page, look at her website, and give her any advice. And I absolutely love to help the girlies. So I went onto her page and not to my shock, because this is something that happens all the time. That girl had 100 and I believe it was 20 followers on her brand page. And instantly I was like, well, sis, you launched your brand, you've got 120 followers. That's your issue. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody is seeing your content. You have absolutely no visibility. This is a DM that we get at least once a week. Girlies that have launched their brand, they're frustrated because no one is buying anything. They've poured in all of this money. They've done the photo shoot, they've built their website, and still absolutely no sales. If this is you and you've already launched your brand, you haven't done the pre-launch method, which I preach on this channel, then I'm going to give you a few things that you can do to pick up sales and hopefully start to bring in those orders. So listen up, girlies, this is going to be a good one. So one thing I always notice is more often than not, new fashion founders are not doing any kind of founder content. They are not sharing the story as to why they started their brand. They're not talking about the inspiration behind their collection. The reason why this is so important, especially when you start your brand, is when you're completely new, nobody trusts you. You're this new brand on the internet, and now you want me to give you money when there's absolutely no trust there yet. One of the quickest ways to build trust as a new brand is to have a founder that is the face of the brand. Now, you don't necessarily have to wear the clothes. I'm not asking you to be a model, but you need to be the ambassador of the brand. You need to let people know that we are legit. You can trust us. This is my story. So some of the types of content that you want to do across TikTok, across Instagram, is sharing exactly why you started your brand. When I did an audit of this girl's page, she had, I think, just one carousel on her page, and it didn't really have much personality. You still didn't really get an indication of who she was. So for me, when we started our brand, our whole story was we are two Nigerian British girls from London. We've always loved colorful fashion, and we felt like there was a gap in the market for something that was really for the girls that love to dress up and have statement outfits. This is why we started our brand. And this really attracted people. We spoke about our heritage, we spoke about where we were from, and we spoke about the fact that we were sisters. So audit your page, audit your content. Are you actually doing founder content? Do people know who is behind this brand? A really great way for you to come up with ideas is to look at other brands on social media, especially new ones, and look at the kind of founder content that they are doing. So just a few ideas. You can come on TikTok and say, hey guys, I'm Alice. I just started a new fashion brand, and it is for the girls that love to dress up, want to wear statement outfits. They love color, they love print. They love to be the girl that everyone is looking at when she walks in the room. You need to do your version of this. Call in the girls that are for your brand. Talk about the identity of who your girl is. I promise you, this kind of content is so needed when you start your brand, because people do not know who you are. So you need to let them know that your brand is for them by speaking about it. Another piece of content you can do is you can actually educate your dream customer about what your collection inspiration is, and let them know the details, the fabric that it's made from. Does it have a special zip? Did you source this fabric from a special supplier? Where was it made, for example? Or is it handmade? Does it have this special feature on it? Really think about what makes your collection stand out and talk about this. I am amazed at how many new fashion founders, they just post pictures and they share no story. Do not miss this step. If you haven't got any sales, this is something that is going to start to attract your dream customer and start to get that following. The more you start to get visibility, eyes on your page, this is in turn going to get those orders in. So make sure to think about your next content day and make sure to include founder content. And guys, we recently done a masterclass in our membership, and this was specifically about how you can use founder content. We gave our members about 14 pieces of content that they should be doing on a regular basis. So if you want to know a bit more about our membership and you want to get access to that masterclass, all the details are in the description. Okay, so moving on, a real issue that I see when people are saying they've got no sales, they've launched, is their content. When it comes to their content strategy, which is your marketing strategy, the visuals that they are using for their brand are simply boring. They are creating content, they've booked a studio, it's just a white background. There's no personality or identity to the content. And so it isn't going viral. It isn't getting views. No one is seeing the content. Instagram, TikTok aren't pushing the content to new people. And that is because the content is boring. It isn't enough to just make amazing clothes, guys. You need to understand how to market those clothes. And the best way that you can do this is to simply do the research. We are in a day and age where all the data is there for you to see. All you need to do is go on Instagram, is go on TikTok, and you will see the views, the likes, the saves, the comments that different brands or different influencers and content creators are getting on their content. And this is where you, as a fashion founder, you need to look at the content that is getting visibility, that is currently going viral. And then you need to look at your content and you need to ask yourself, okay, based on what I've already put out there, what is the difference? When I look at this brand or this influencer's content, what is the reason why it is going viral, why it is going visible in comparison to my content that is getting no views? You will start to see that there's no identity, there's no personality, there's no hook, there's no interesting music. The models perhaps may look awkward, or the models are doing really standard poses that just isn't aligning to your dream customer. You need to do an audit of your content by comparing it to what is currently doing well on social media. And that is going to help you see where the issue is with your content, and therefore now you can start to create new content. You have to understand, as a new fashion founder, you are in the testing phase. You've already launched your brand. You wasn't quite able to do the pre-launch strategy that I talk about. And so now you are in the testing phase. You need to, on a regular basis, keep on testing out new content formats by seeing what is currently working. So for us, I love to give this example. There was a time really early on in our brand where our sales just were not consistent and we just couldn't figure out why until we looked at the influencers. And this is where everything changed. We noticed that the girls that were going viral, that were getting attention, that were in our fashion niche, they were doing get ready with me's. They were doing styling videos. They were doing outfit of the day videos, and they were doing them within the context of their lifestyle. They weren't on a white background. They were in a really beautiful home or hotel, or if they were on vacation, they were doing this OOTD in a really nice balcony, for example. So many findings came out of doing the research of looking at influencers. And then we started to test this content for our brand. And that is when everything changed. Suddenly, we were going from just getting, 1 or 2 sales a week to we were getting 1 or 2 sales a day, and then more and then more. And so you have to have your research cap on at all times. As a fashion founder, stay connected to the fashion influencers. Look at what is currently doing well on social media and then replicate it for your brand. It's as simple as that, guys. You do not have to reinvent the wheel, but you have to understand who your customer is, who her lifestyle is, and then find influencers that are doing well online that align with your lifestyle and start to test out all these different pieces of content. This is going to help you start to get visibility and views and likes and engagement. And in turn, it will drive traffic to your website. So make sure that if you haven't done this exercise, that you start doing it and plan your next content shoot around what you have discovered. And I just want to add here, guys, it is amazing how many people are frustrated that no one's buying their brand. And when I look at the frequency of how often they are posting, I am absolutely amazed. I'm talking, 1 to 2 times a week. And I'm like, if this is the only type of content that you are doing, if this is the only type of marketing that you are doing, I promise you, posting 1 to 2 times a week is not gonna cut it. When we first started our brand, we were posting at least 3 times a day on a consistent basis. If you wanna have that consistent income coming into your brand, you need to have visibility, and visibility comes through content. Before you start doing any kinds of ads, you need to test what is going to do well with your organic content. And this means you need to be posting at least 3 times a day. So please, look at how often you are posting, stay testing all the different types of content. And once you have figured out what is doing well, you need to do that over and over again. Once we saw that our customer loved to do the get ready with me's and styling content, we did it over and over again. And over again, we kept going viral. We kept on selling out and having to restock more of this style, more of this dress, more of this top. Do not think that once you do a certain style of content that you have to just completely move on and abandon it. No, you're doing this phase to research, to test. And once you figured out what works, you need to do it again and again. And you need to increase the output 3 times a day, guys, nothing less. You can be doing your founder content on a daily basis. You can be doing your styling content on a daily basis. And then you will have to do the research to see what else you can be posting. This is what is going to help get more people knowing that you exist as a brand. So keep posting your content, guys. Keep posting. Now, another really important aspect as a new fashion founder is you want to make sure that your website looks legit. Again, I've seen so many websites where they're using AI images or the layout just looks really amateur. You need to compare your website to other brands that are within your niche. If your website looks unprofessional, it looks amateur, and then there's another brand where their website looks really professional and legit, who are your customers most likely going to buy from? Okay, there you have it. When it comes to your website, do not try and do something that is out of the ordinary. Keep it simple and base your website upon one of your competitors or another brand that you really look up to and that you love, and model your website based on theirs. This is exactly what I did. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. Shopify has so many incredible themes themes that look so professional now. There's even AI now, so you can really use these tools to build an amazing website. And guys, there's so many apps as well that you can use in order to make sure that your website has a high conversion rate. Another really important factor is please make sure that you have professional pictures. You want to take pictures where your models are on a white background, or if they're lifestyle images, they should look really polished and professional. And always make sure to have an invisible mannequin photograph as well. This is going to ensure that when people discover you through your social media, through your content, and then they go onto your website, it doesn't put them off. Because if you are coming out with a amateur website, this is absolutely going to make people mistrust you, and you don't want to lose the sale. So make sure to use part of your budget to ensure that you've got a good looking website, guys. So girlies, if you've already launched your brand and you've been feeling discouraged, I really hope this video has helped you out. I don't want you to feel down about it. If I'm honest, I launched my brand twice before it worked the third time, if you don't already know my story. And on both times, it flopped. And this was really because I didn't have the mentorship, I didn't have the coaching, and in all honesty, I didn't really know what I was doing. But there is hope, because this is exactly why we created the membership. So if you do want a bit more help, you do want to be coached by myself on our bi-weekly coaching calls and have access to our full training, all the details of our membership is in the description. So girlies, let me know if this has helped. If you implement any of the points, let me know how it goes. I really just want to support you guys and make sure that you are doing everything that you can do to get those orders.